The Threshold Accord had stood for 9 centuries. Signed in blood and starlight, it was the only treaty in galactic history that had never been broken. Not once, not even during the Krylon Uprising, not even when the Vast Dominion tried to bait humanity into war. 900 years of fragile, hard-won peace between 300 species, held together by a single principle carved into the treaty's opening line. No signatory shall raise a weapon against another signatory's command authority. To do so is to declare war upon all. Every species in the Accord understood this. Every species feared it, because breaking it meant facing not one enemy, but the combined fury of the galaxy's oldest alliance. And then, on a gray morning above the neutral station of Vath's Reach, the Talvorii Empire broke it anyway. They shot Commander Elena Reyes. The Talvorii had never respected humanity. Tall, silver-skinned, ancient beyond counting, they measured worth in conquest, and humans, in their eyes, had conquered nothing. No empire, no subjugated worlds. Just a single blue planet and a reputation for stubbornness the Talvorii dismissed as noise. They negotiate like beggars, Ambassador Thrensokov had once said, watching a human diplomat calmly refuse Talvorii terms for the 11th time. And yet they never break. It is almost admirable. Almost. That word, almost, had cost the Talvorii more than they knew. Commander Reyes had come to Vath's Reach for something simple. A routine ceasefire renewal between the Talvorii and the Ashenkan colonies, mediated by Earth as a neutral party. She wore no armor. She carried no weapon. Only the treaty itself, and the calm, unshakable authority of someone who had spent a lifetime believing peace was worth protecting. The Talvorii High Officer, General Drathcallum, saw only weakness. "You come unarmed," he said, standing over her on the station's central platform, his voice edged with contempt. "You come alone. Do you truly believe your species commands respect here?" "I don't need to command it," Reyes said quietly. "The treaty already earned it. 900 years of it." Drath's hand moved to his sidearm. Around them, delegates from a dozen species froze. No one believed he would actually do it. "Then let the treaty die with you," he said, and he fired. For one heartbeat, the station was silent as a tomb. Elena Reyes fell. The Ashenkan delegation screamed. The automated peacekeeping drones, dormant for 900 years, never once activated, began to hum awake, their ancient protocols recognizing what had just happened. A command authority has been struck. The Accord has been violated. Every species present understood what should come next. War. Immediate, overwhelming, galaxy-spanning war. The Talvorii Empire had just signed its own death warrant. But something strange happened instead. Human ships did not immediately open fire. No armada tore through the void toward Talvorii space. Instead, within minutes, a single Earth vessel, the Compassionate Fire, a hospital ship, unarmed, broke formation from its patrol route and burned hard toward the station. Aboard it was Dr. Amara Okonkwo, a trauma surgeon who had spent 15 years stitching together soldiers from 6 different species on 6 different battlefields, always on the side of whoever was bleeding, never asking which side they'd started on. She reached Reyes in under 4 minutes. The commander was still breathing, barely. "Talk to me?" Amara said, hands already working, voice steady as stone despite the blood soaking through her gloves. "Elena, stay with me." "The treaty," Reyes whispered. "Don't let them. Don't let this become the reason it ends." "It won't," Amara said. "I promise you it won't." What happened next was broadcast across 70,000 systems within the hour, and it became the single most replayed moment in galactic history. Instead of retaliating, Earth's ambassador, a quiet, unremarkable man named Julian Voss, stood before the assembled delegates of the Accord and made a request that stunned every species listening. "We will not go to war," he said. "Not because we lack the strength. Every species here knows we do not lack the strength. We will not go to war because Elena Reyes did not die for war. She lived, and she may yet live, for peace. And if she does not survive, I will not let her final act be the thing that ends what she spent her life building." General Drath, watching from Talvorii High Command, laughed. "Weakness," he told his officers. "I told you, They will not fight. He was wrong. Not because humanity refused to fight, but because they chose something the Talvorii had never once considered. Humanity chose to forgive without forgetting, to hold the line on principle rather than vengeance. Earth demanded no war. It demanded justice, a formal tribunal open to every species, with the full weight of evidence broadcast for all to see. No hidden trial. No quiet execution. Just truth laid bare before the galaxy. And when the evidence played, Draitha's own words, his own hand on the weapon, his own contempt caught on a dozen recording drones, the other species did something the Talvorii never expected. They turned away from the Empire. Not with weapons. With something worse. Silence. Trade routes closed. Alliances quietly dissolved. The Talvorii Empire, once feared for its strength, found itself alone in a galaxy that had chosen, unanimously, to stand beside the species that refused to become what had attacked it. Elena Reyes survived. 3 months later, she stood again on Vaitha's reach, the same platform, the same scar of a station, and addressed the same assembly that had once watched her fall. "I've heard humans called soft," she said. "Weak, sentimental. I've heard it from a dozen species who measure strength by how quickly you draw a weapon. But strength isn't the speed of your trigger finger. It's what you choose to protect when you have every reason not to." General Draith, stripped of rank, watched the broadcast from a holding cell, and for the first time in 900 years of Talvorii history, doubted everything he had been taught about weakness. Ambassador Thren Sokov, watching from his own quarters, finally understood the word he'd once dismissed. Almost. Humanity had almost nothing, no empire, no conquest, no fear-built reputation. And yet they had held an entire galaxy together with nothing but their word. The threshold accord did not fall that day. It grew stronger, rewritten with a new clause, one insisted upon by every species that had witnessed what happened. A clause named, unofficially, after a woman who bled on a station floor and chose peace anyway. They call it Reyes's Clause now, the historians would write centuries later. The first law in galactic history not built on the threat of war, but on the proof of mercy. And for the first time the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars.